All right. This is actually for real this time, Ryan, isn't it? I mean, if you tell our subs and everyone else what has been going on, unbelievable.
No, it has been unbelievable
It's
the
been, it's
past
been,
couple. Of course, we tried to record
it has
yesterday,
been unbelievable.
about 3 or 4 times, couldn't get it to work, and then this morning, probably been trying for about 15 more minutes, and we thought we had it going right before this one, and all of a sudden, just like that, 30 seconds in, all of a sudden Phil's talking and he's gone just like that. So
Just
hopefully
like
we
that.
hopefully we both stay in this time and we're able to get this one out.
All right. While you're speaking, let me actually go shut the blinds up with the sun coming right in the window. But again, I will only take a couple seconds and I will be right back. But again, on this Wednesday morning hump day, man, it's nothing like the eggs, the eggs on the stove and the bacon and the sausage. Oh man, the smell of breakfast. I tell you, there's nothing like going on in the morning, Ryan. And again, I wouldn't have it any other way other than you joining me this morning. A hump day, as we like to call it. I haven't seen them commercials in a while. Where the camel used to walk through hump day. You always used to like that, but it's not speaking anymore about commercials. We'll get on right down into it. You told me that you had some big news, and anytime it starts with a P and ends with I guess not a B, an S, Paige Bueckers, that's big news. That's big news. So what do you have for me while I shut the blinds up?
Yeah, big news yesterday. We got about UConn's schedule for next season, at least for one game. UConn's going to travel to Minneapolis on Sunday, November 19th of next year, 2023. Obviously, it'll be a homecoming game for Paige Bueckers. So finally, we get some positive news to talk about when we say Paige
Mhm.
Bueckers. So hopefully she can be 100% healthy for this game next year. Now, Paige and UConn did play in Minneapolis last year for the Final Four and, of course, the championship game. I think I remember Paige getting interviewed in one of the post games. And I think I remember saying it's great to be home, obviously great to play in front of the hometown fans. But I think I remember saying it's just another game. Her focus is obviously on winning the game. I'm sure that's going to be the mindset they're going to have going into Minnesota next season to face the Golden Gophers. But it's exciting to look forward for this game next year, UConn playing the Golden Gophers in 2023.
Yeah. And I actually it was a one of our subs that had commented on one of the videos, and I think it's the video that we'll go over as far as the comments at the end of this video, uh, this podcast again this Wednesday morning. Um, I'm not able to see it now, Ryan, but again, I saw anytime it has the name Paige Bueckers in it, and I thought that was really interesting to see that the team, and you told me they would be traveling to Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely exciting. Of course, like I mentioned last year, they were of course there for the Final Four. So hopefully a
Yeah.
little redemption, a little bit for that championship loss in Minneapolis. But the Golden Gophers off to, I think they're 1 or 2-0 so far to start this
Mhm.
season. But I know they have a couple good prospects there in Minnesota for next year. So hopefully it'll be a pretty close game, a pretty good game. Another note, I saw this yesterday as well. The number one prospect in the class of 2023, Juju Watkins, will be going to USC, signing her letter of intent yesterday. So that's some pretty big news just for the women's college basketball world. So number one prospect going to the USC Trojans.
Yeah. I like that a lot. And so with that said, what I want to get a little bit of how about we'll call it just some side talk, maybe. It's a free talk. Shout out to WFMD. I know you know that station all too well, 930. Yeah, free talk. Now we're not trying to steal their logo or their slogan. Don't get me wrong now. But a little bit of side talk. I bet you call it Ryan likes to call it free talk. What is your initial reaction when you heard this news? As far as, I mean, do you think obviously athletes say, well, it's just another game. I have to go out there and play my best and then leave it all on the floor. It's just another game. Usually we hear that over and over in press conferences prior to the game and then post game press conferences in this situation. So, Paige Bueckers, does she approach this game any differently? Or, I mean, this is just another game. I'd like to. A college player, we're talking about, you have to remember, we're not even talking about a professional basketball player. We're talking about a college player. And you just have to sit back a moment and think, man, just how much more bigger the spotlight will be. I mean, yeah, will you have a lot of maybe like some cars driving by with Paige Bueckers' name written all over it? How they like to use shaving cream and, scratch the numbers and the names on the windshield. I'm sure it's not one of them situations where just because it's in a away game, you're not going to have people throwing eggs at the bus. It's just no, man. This is all love. This is all love. But anything, Ryan, at all that you expect to be different, or it's just any other game?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be obviously a lot of Paige Bueckers fans there for this game next year, but
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be another game. I think Paige, she's not going to have a different mindset just for this one game. I'm sure she'll obviously go home, probably see some friends and family, of course. But rather than that, I think it's just going to be another game for her. Obviously, I think, like I just mentioned, her mindset's still going to be on winning the game. As for the rest of the team, their mindset stays the same on winning the game, going on the road in a pretty tough environment, I would imagine, and being able to get the job done and focus on winning. So I really don't think there's any different mindset of, just the storyline of Paige Bueckers coming home. But I don't really expect any of that news to really affect her at all.
Yeah. All right. And how about let's get into a lot of comments. They came through very well. I want to take the time again to just thank everyone, Ryan. And I know you wanted to take that time as well. What we have seen even the past year, maybe we can even say the past 6 months. You and I was discussing on the phone the other night how much of a blessing it's been, really. I mean, we just want to take this time very quickly before we get into the comments. The Azzi Fudd scores 32 video from the other night as the UConn Huskies made a major statement, right? Major statement without PB, without PB. But yeah, I just wanted to again, we don't have words for it, man. The support and the love that even if we receive some not so nice comments, we understand, man. It's a sports podcast. We're lucky enough to have these people come through day after day, week after week. And again, I know that you wanted to shout out to the regulars because you don't forget about these people, and especially when you see their names pop up again. We didn't hear from a lot of these people all off season, and for them to come back a second full season covering this team truly means a lot to me, and I'm sure it does to you.
Oh, for sure, definitely. And we love to see all the comments, positive and negative. We love to see all new subscribers, old subscribers as well. Keep on commenting. Of course, we love all people here that subscribe and old subscribers as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just amazing because we were talking about it the other day when we first started posting, of course, covering the team a year ago. It was a long journey. We were just new to covering the team and Paige Bueckers. So I think we've kind of come a long way. We still have a long way to go. Certainly some things we can improve on, but second year covering the team, it feels good, and just made it to 600 subscribers. And of course, that's all thanks to you guys. Hopefully, I think the goal for hopefully at the end of this season, 1,000 subscribers. So if we can hit that, that would truly be a blessing. But 600 subscribers, we really can't thank you guys enough for keep on liking the videos, watching, subscribing, all that good stuff. So it's really great to see it. We really do appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and even if you don't have the feel the need to subscribe, do it anyway. But no, even if you aren't a subscriber, hey, we love you anyway, right, Ryan? All right, let's get right on down into it. The disruptive one goes, fed up with the lack of playing time for DeBerry.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are. I've been seeing a lot of comments about Amari. I think she's really important to this team. I think a lot of people do love her, but I think a lot of people are kind of fed up with the minutes that she's not receiving, but I just think for Aubrey Griffin coming back and Ayanna Patterson, I really do think Aubrey and Ayanna are kind of outplaying her right now, and maybe Gino sees that in practice as well, and that's why Ayanna and Aubrey are getting more minutes because through these first two games, Ayanna and Aubrey are playing very tremendous basketball. Amari's shown a couple good things here and there, but I know a lot of people were excited to get her back for this season, and of course a little bit of last season as well. But it's definitely a little disappointing, and maybe we'll have an episode later this week or maybe next week talking about Amari a little bit more.
Yeah. Now, hopefully this is the this is the right day. I get my days mixed up. Today was the Paige Bueckers video, correct? We did talk about the right topic because a little spoiler alert, we have a Amari DeBerry video coming. But today's not the day for that, correct?
No, Paige Bueckers news today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Paige Bueckers Day. All right. How about Ying Young Law? However, UConn defense is not good enough and has to be improved in the future. Oh, wow. Well, man, I'll go ahead, Ryan. You know, I can sit here for an hour and talk to you about. I mean, you have to make sure that you realize however, it's hard for us to say this, but you have to make sure we're not talking about the UConn Huskies that won 100 so games in a row. I mean, this is a new generation. This is a different time. It's time to adapt and respect. I'm not saying that this person's not respecting the other opponents, but there's arguably a lot of I know I get some people fired up here. A lot of so-called better overall players in the league, but I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd have to disagree with this comment because I think UConn's defense is kind of what carries this team. Obviously, they score a lot of points. They shoot really good from the field. I have a stat here. They're shooting 53% through the first two
Yeah.
games as a team.
Mhm.
So obviously they're going to score a lot of points with Azzi Fudd, and of course with everybody else. But a lot of those points comes from their defense and all the steals and turnovers they create from the other team. So I think just most of their offense is created by their defense, and their defense is going to carry this team possibly to another national championship appearance. Of course, that's what we're all hoping. So I think their defense has been tremendous these past couple games. Of course,
Yeah.
due in a large part to Nika Mule, who looks like again somehow she won defensive Big East Player of the Year last season, but somehow her defense has improved from last season.
Yeah, you said it right. And don't get me wrong, UConn they are working their way towards as far as each individual player, top recruiter out of high school. Okay, that's already all you can ask for. That's a check on the box. What I'm saying, Ryan, is specifically kind of like Azzi Fudd. She has yet to actually step up as a superstar in this league, right? So, but she's working her way towards that, as we are witnesses to, right?
Right.
This season. So I'm not saying the potential is there. Okay. The potential is there. All I'm saying is there are other star players right now who have built up maybe a little bit bigger of a resume than the majority of these Huskies. So again, what they are doing is actually very shocking to some people, right? Because especially that last game, who came through and said, all of this over a win versus Texas? I didn't see any comment like that.
No, and it is pretty amazing because I know a lot of Husky fans were kind of fed up with all the news during the off season, of course, with the
Mhm.
two injuries, and then a lot of reports, a couple from ESPN had them lower in the rankings, and a lot of other ranking sources had them lower, and nobody was saying they really had a chance to make it far in March or certainly to another national championship appearance. So they've definitely proven quite a lot of people wrong through these first two games.
How about Grobel? Azzi is going to have a season like Paige did her freshman year. She is going to have to be an All-American level and the go-to scorer in the crunch to close games out and to pull the team out of during the game lulls. I guess he means during the low points in games. So that was from Grobel. Grobel, all too familiar with Grobel.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And like you mentioned, Azzi Fudd's kind of working her way up to that superstar level for this season. She's definitely shown that through the first few games. But I would agree, and I think I mentioned a little bit of that during that recap video against Texas, that Azzi Fudd's going to have to continue this for UConn throughout the whole entire season, and certainly through March Madness, because they're not going to have Paige Bueckers to rely on to provide them that scoring on offense. So Azzi Fudd, I know she can do it. I know she's going to continue this throughout the whole season, but it's pretty amazing what, I mean, she's averaging 29 points a game so far, but it's going to be pretty amazing if she keeps this pace up. But certainly, she's kind of comparable to Paige's freshman year, what Azzi Fudd's doing right now in her sophomore year.
And going along with Grobel, UConn just announced Paige's senior homecoming game, 11-19-23 versus Minnesota. So that's the episode that we wanted to have today. And in fact, we are here discussing with you guys about that. But Grobel then goes on to list the scheduled games for 23-24. I won't go into that, Ryan, because I know you might start breaking out in a sweat. You know, we don't want too much on your plate right now. We want to handle 22 and 23 before looking too far ahead.
Yeah, let's just get past this season, and then we can talk about next season during the off season.
How about this is a new name, Mason H. Thanks for coming through. I thought Paige will be a superstar, but she needs to be more assertive to the whole creating shots for others. Looks like Azzi may be the real deal. Give it mid-season to know. With Ice coming in as starting forward, providing defensive presence in the paint, rebounding, and interior scoring, this team may be contenders.
Well, certainly. I mean, I think it's kind of hard to say anything about Paige Bueckers because we know she's obviously a great player from her freshman year. And despite the injury last season, she was able to come back, play through the Big East tournament and March Madness. And certainly, I don't think she was 100%, but she still had a huge, huge impact and was the main reason why they were able to get to another national championship. But Paige can definitely improve some assets of her game, but Azzi Fudd, it definitely looks like a superstar through the first two games, and obviously, UConn's going to need her to continue that this whole season. But for Ice, I mean, she's definitely a really good player, and hopefully, we get to see her healthy again next season. But definitely, Albert Griffin and Ayanna Patterson have definitely I guess taken her spot a little bit and taken a couple of her minutes and definitely made good use out of those, because those are two tremendous players that UConn heavily relies on coming off the bench.
This was interesting. Randy Wagner goes, a most famous jersey retired tonight, number 32. Then Azzi takes over the game with 32 points. So good. That's why we love sports, Ryan. You know, it's the little things. I told you, it's sometimes it works out in God's hands, let's just say, right? I mean, that's very it's weird. It's weird, man. Number 32, and she scores 32 points. I know that you might not recall a point in time in sports right now where it's been like that, but sometimes, man, it can work out very weird.
Yeah, and I never even realized that after the game. So that is a good point to bring up. But sports is so special. There's a lot to be taken, especially watching all the games, but also outside of the field and court. It just means a lot to so many people.
Thomas Varela has a good one for you. Every championship team that has a combination of tenacious team defense with at least one dominant player who can take over a game, I believe that the Huskies possess those qualities. He makes a good point, because that's going back to what I was telling you. Right now, when you think about South Carolina, you think about Aaliyah Boston. You know, when you think about who is it, Iowa, you think about Clark. Okay. So with that said, I think UConn is still cementing their spot as far as who is that go-to player now with Paige Bueckers out. The go-to player, you know, are you going to the qualities that those teams possess? Is that the way you're going to work, or is this team going to ride it out and hopefully into the sunset by the end of the year, as we saw it last year? Really, the whole team working together, or is it going to be, again, like a team? I hate to keep bringing it up. I just, they're at the top of my mind here. Obviously, they're at the top too. Again, you think of South Carolina, you think of Leah Boston. So again, right now you think about Azzi Fudd, but that's only 2 games in.
Yeah, and obviously when Paige Bueckers is healthy, when you think of UConn, you think of Paige Bueckers, but
Yeah.
that's not the case for this season, obviously. So I don't necessarily think it has to be UConn directly to Azzi Fudd. I think it is going to be a team effort, and I think it has, even though Azzi Fudd is scoring so many points. I really do think it is a team effort, much like we saw last season, especially towards the end. And I think they're going to have to keep that up. It's just been a team effort on the defensive side of things. Everybody's contributing. It's a lot of Nika Mule, but everybody is playing pretty tough defense, especially all the bigs, Dorka, Aaliyah, Aubrey, which Aubrey has improved her game tremendously. They really missed her last season. I think if UConn would have had Aubrey last season, I do believe they might have had a chance to win that national championship game, because her impact this season has been incredible. Her ability to go outside the arc and shoot 3-pointers just brings a whole nother level up to her game. But tremendous defense by the whole team so far. The passing needs to improve a little bit, but it seems to be a team effort in my opinion so far.
And time for one more. How about Iva? We haven't had Iva in the spotlight for a while. She goes, everybody did do their part, but Azzi was just amazing. Gino did say this year she needs to become a star player. Also, Nika played 37 minutes against Texas. Like Gino said, Azzi and Nika are the players with the most pressure this year. If the team gets even better this season, could be insanely good. Azzi player of the year and Nika defensive player of the year. Oh, so we're starting to get into our postseason awards already. So she's setting us up for for a nice look ahead.
I mean, I definitely agree with that through these first 2 games. And if Nika would score more points, obviously that's not part of her game, and she doesn't need to score a lot of points. But if she would probably be the national player of the year. But Azzi Fudd certainly has that potential to be the national player of the year. She's certainly shown that. And for Nika Mule, I think if she keeps this pace up, getting rebounds, steals, a couple blocks here and there, but just her impact on defense, she is certainly seeming like the defensive player of the year for the whole nation. But Azzi and Nika are definitely the 2 players that are kind of in the spotlight for this season. But like I just mentioned, I really do think it's a team effort for everybody on the court, and Lou Lopez as well. Her just coming in and fitting in with the team so well, and everything that Gino's taught her and the players that have showed her. She just seems to take it all in, and we've really seen that through these first 2 games. So it's been amazing to watch this team so far. Really, really exciting. Big matchup Sunday with NC State. So celebrating the win against Texas, but we got to move on to NC State, another top 10 matchup.
Yeah, we have to move on because Ryan is on a tight schedule. Ryan is past 11. I will let you go. Again, the game will mark the return of former Hopkins star Paige Bueckers to Williams Arena to face Lindsay Whalen and the Gophers. Ryan, Gophers to host UConn and Paige Bueckers again in November of 2023 non-conference game. And again, that was our topic for today on Listen Up, presented by Dempsey's in Sportsland. Ryan, you can't wait. I can't wait. We all can't wait. Next up will be talk about Amari DeBerry, and then we will have the last check-in before another big matchup. All these games, blowout or no blowout, Ryan said they're all important to Ryan Renner, right? It's Phil and Rye right here on Listen Up.